Good evening. Welcome to the Living in Utah live question and answer session here Thursday evening at 8 p.m. Mountain Time every Thursday evening. How is everyone doing this evening? It's great. It's great in Utah. I love this time of year. Temperatures this week, it was a little warm today. We got close to about 100 degrees. But earlier in the week, we were like in the lower 90s. Beautiful, beautiful time of year. I really enjoy this time of year. So state of Utah is doing very well. I love the state of Utah. I love where I live. And you're welcome to ask any questions you want, whether it's the state of Utah, real estate, investing. Maybe you're joining us from a foreign country and you would like questions about the United States, you're welcome to shoot them at me also. So it's been a very, and as I was talking about, like in the state of Utah, and then, so a couple things. I had a comment this week on one of my videos. It was the Avoid Utah video, and someone made the comment, why would a realtor tell people about the negatives to an area? And I guess it's a valid point, but I don't believe there's a place in the United States or in the world that I know of that is perfect for every individual. We talk about places like Hawaii and all kinds of places. And my brother was stationed in Hawaii, and he enjoyed it there, but he got what they call island fever. He missed the United States. So everywhere has pros and cons, and you have to weigh the pros and cons to what your likings are. And I was just talking to a man probably about a week ago from Miami, Florida, and we were talking about that. There's things in Utah we can't compete with like Miami, Florida. We do not have the beaches, the bars, and nightlife that Miami, Florida offers. So if that's someone's lifestyle and they move to Utah, they'd be disappointed because we do not have the beaches and the bars and everything else that go with all that. So it's a different lifestyle. It's a different lifestyle. So I typically say we are a family-oriented state, and we are the outdoor recreational capital for the United States. So that's what we are mostly known for, the outdoor recreation, the family lifestyle, 4 seasons. So that's the state of Utah. I say it's been a great week in Utah. Things are going great in the state of Utah. We still have very low unemployment. Jobs are out there. Actually, a lot of businesses are having a tough time finding employees. You'll find some of your fast food restaurants, the dine-in is closed. They're just running the drive-thrus. And in some locations, they are closing at like 6, 7 p.m. because they do not have the staff, or closing on Sundays, et cetera, et cetera. It is very, very tough in the state of Utah. We do have some issues with the COVID. Our numbers are climbing. They are, I would say that the health department feels that the numbers are high. They're not as high as I have seen in the past, but who knows? Who knows where the numbers are heading with what's going on? I've heard there's another variant in like Korea right now that they hope does not spread across the world. And I'm thinking, how is that going to be possible? It has been spreading. So good evening, Curtis. How is the state of Texas, Curtis? I believe you're in Texas. So I could be wrong. Just trying to go off memory. As we talk about the vaccine, I had news come out this week that if you want to attend the Sundance Film Festival, they are going to require that you be vaccinated. That is the law of the land that they are putting out there. So I have a trivia question for you. Where in the United States is the cheapest pepperoni pizza to purchase? That would be the state of Utah. New report come out. Utah is home to the cheapest pepperoni pizza. Now, how they come up with those numbers, I do not know. Because I would imagine that most of your chain pizza joints, your Papa John's, Pizza Hut, I assume that the pricing was standard across the United States. Maybe in some areas where the cost of living is a lot higher, like maybe areas of like Hawaii or California, the price is probably a little bit higher. But how they came up with Utah as being the cheapest, I do not know. So they said that the study found out that a pepperoni pizza in Utah costs $6.49 on average. So and maybe a little bit of that is due to the Little Caesars locations. They used to do a $5 pepperoni pizza. I think now it's like $5.55. I'm not sure. I've not been to a Little Caesars in a long time. And I do not know what other states have Little Caesars. I know they're in some other states, but I do not know if they're just a West Coast thing and maybe they're not an East Coast thing. But Little Caesars has kept the price of pizza down for quite a bit. So anyways, Utah, cheapest place for a pepperoni pizza. So interesting. The other thing we were talking about that I put on the thing was the eviction moratorium ended. No longer until yesterday or today when the CDC passed a new law extending it to October the 3rd. I get a lot of questions about that. I get asked about it. I know quite a few landlords, so it's been a very hot topic. And from my side of the business that I hear, a lot of people are upset with the ability of the CDC to do this. They feel it's an overreach of government. So most people feel they control they control the whole flow of diseases in the United States, COVID, everything. But when are they in the real estate business? Now they're in the real estate business because they're passing these laws. So it's very interesting. It's very interesting. And I was thinking about it because a lot of people ask, opinion, et cetera, et cetera. So I was thinking about what would I do if I was president of the United States or what was in control of what you do. Because I understand there are some people affected by COVID and they do need assistance. There's no doubt they need assistance. They've lost jobs, et cetera, et cetera. But there's a lot of people out there too that have just taken advantage and figured, no rent, free ride. They're still working. There's stories of them buying boats and new cars, et cetera, et cetera. So I see both sides of it. There is a lot of money out there. So it's a matter of applying for it. It's easier for a renter just to say, I'm affected by COVID, I don't have to pay rent, than go through the state procedures to get your rent paid for. But I've been told now that in the state of Utah, a landlord can apply for some rent assistance for their renters if they do not want to do it themselves. So I figured, how would I solve that? Apart from the rent assistance, I think the fair way to do it would be the same thing they are doing with the businesses out there. So if you're a restaurant, whatever kind of business you are, and you're struggling, they have what they call an EIDL loan. Economic Injury Disaster Loan, I believe is what it stands for. They call it an EIDL loan, EIDL. So it's a loan that you take out to keep your business afloat. 3.75% interest on a 30-year term. So you apply, you borrow the money. I believe it's either 18 months or 24 months before you have to make your first payment. But the interest is accruing from the time it hits your bank account. But it helps businesses stay in business during hard times. And it's not just now, times like Hurricane Katrina, all the natural disasters, these loans are available. So I had the idea that that's what they possibly should have done, is offered people loans to pay their rent with a starting date of repayment in, say, 18 months to 24 months. Let the government hold the note, and the government have the responsibility for collecting. And if they don't collect, they can, whatever channels they can do, pull it out of someone's IRS check. But I thought that was probably a better way, and let them take out a loan and have the payments spread out over maybe 10 years, 15 years. So they would only be paying, when they have to start paying, say they borrowed $10,000, their payment would be very low. Maybe it'd be $100, $150 a month over a longer period of time. So that's what my solution or my thought to it was. Okay. Any questions this evening that we have? Now I want pizza. Yes, I have not had pizza in a while. And a week ago, somebody asked me a question on Pizza Joint in Salt Lake City, and I recommended the pie. And I've been thinking about it all week long. When I'm up that area, I've been thinking about it. I just haven't been up towards the University of Utah lately this week, which is kind of surprising, but I plan on stopping and picking one up. So we'll see. There's also a location in Ogden too, if people want to enjoy the pie pizza. It's a little local favorite. The one up by the University of Utah is a college hangout. I really like the location. I love the atmosphere, the students that go there, et cetera, et cetera. It's a great enjoyment. So many years ago, used to go to like a University of Utah football game or a basketball game. We would stop and eat there. And now it's just so packed on game night that you'd have to be there 3 or 4 hours in advance. So, but at one time we used to stop in there. So also had a question probably about 2 weeks ago, with the hotter temperatures, where can you go where it's a little bit cooler? And I mentioned a couple places, and I actually went to one yesterday. I wanted to escape the heat a little bit, have some free time to myself. So I wanted to go ride to UTV, and I went up to a place called Hardware Ranch. Is in just outside of Hiram, Utah, which is up by Logan, Utah, the northeast corner of our state. I think it's about 5,600 feet, the elevation when you're at Hardware Ranch. I got there at about 7:30 in the morning. It was 68 degrees. I had to put a little windbreaker jacket on for the beginning of the ride. And probably by about 10 or 11, I was taking it off. But by about 12, 1 o'clock, the temperature, I was heading home then, loading up to head home. The temperature was 81 degrees. Just beautiful day of riding, ideal temperatures. I didn't mind the 68 degrees in the morning. So that is one location. If you have a dirt bike, anything you want to go and feel the temperature's a little too warm, that's one location you can pop up to and have a great time. You can also go hiking up there. There's a great waterfall. The drive up to Hardware Ranch follows river all the way up there most of the way, and mountains on the other side. So there's a lot of areas if you want to do a little bit of fishing. It's a great area, a little bit cooler temperatures. So very, very quiet up there. There's signs to get there. Once you're in Hiram, there's a big McDonald's like on one of the corners, the center of town. There's a sign right there. It points you right up the Black Fork Canyon is what they call it, I believe. So anything else going on this evening? It's a quiet night tonight. About 2 weeks ago, it was very busy. All kinds of people joined on with all kinds of questions. Must be competing tonight because it's the first preseason game of football. And I just saw it when I got home, and I guess just time just goes by so fast. I didn't realize that we're already in preseason football. So, wow. It's 90-some degrees outside. I haven't even been thinking about the football season coming up. So, and I'm a big football fan, and it just took me by surprise this year. Just well out of the norm. So anyways, yeah, preseason football. Wow, it's upon us. I mean, it's college football will be starting here, end of the month probably. So Interesting times. Interesting time of year. That's about most I've got. It's going on in the state of Utah. The state is doing good. We are in a drought. They are trying to come up with plans to conserve water. There is a town called Echo that they are actually trucking water into them because they feel they possibly will run out of water. There is a couple cities right now that is stopping building permits because they do not have the water to supply the residents. So it's an interesting time. I've seen it before. I've seen us in a drought, then I've seen at where we've had above normal snowpacks and an ample amount of water. I hope it does go back to that, at where we do get more snowpacks, so for the water situation. And we're in a tough time right now in the state of Utah. There's they're going to try to crack down a little bit, and I think it's much needed. I really do think it's much needed. I see city buildings and county buildings in the middle of the day with their sprinklers going. I see residents with their sprinklers going in the middle of the day when most of the water will evaporate on a 100-degree day, 95-degree day. So maybe cracking down on some of that will be a good thing. So has sparked a lot of debate. Curtis, I'm going to be going on vacation to Washington and Oregon. Cool. Have you been to Washington or Oregon before? So I just talked to somebody about 2 days ago that went to the state of Oregon, and he said it has changed. He was shocked about the state of Oregon, and he is glad he is back. So I do know a lot about both states. My sister-in-law lived in Seattle, Washington for many, many years. About 2 or 3 years ago, she had enough, retired, and she moved out. She moved back home to Idaho. I get a lot of phone calls from Washington and from Oregon. And I had one particular call that I remember like yesterday. So the man lives in Portland, Oregon, retired individual, born and raised in the area, has lived there his whole life, and he is looking at moving. Called me on the phone, and I ask a lot of questions. Why are you moving? One of the reasons, he has a daughter that lives down here. But he has just had enough of Portland, Oregon. They used to go downtown for dinner, shopping. He says it's not safe anymore. And this is information I received from him, so I have not fact-checked any of this information. So far this year, the Portland Police Department has lost like 120 officers. They've either retired, taken jobs in Idaho, Utah, anywhere else, Montana, have moved out. He just does not feel safe. And he told me flat out that I didn't think in my lifetime I would ever leave Portland, Oregon, but I'm looking at leaving, and he's going to make a trip down here to visit his daughter and is going to look at some real estate at the same time and possibly make the move. So it's a shame. I think it's a shame what went on in Portland, Oregon, and it doesn't sound like it has cleaned up a whole lot since what went on about a year ago. So Oregon has changed, not for the good, per my friends. And that's what I'm hearing, Gail. The exact same thing. Yeah. And Seattle's the same way. My sister-in-law was telling me, so the home that she lived in, we visited a few times, and there's some local parks, and it was a very expensive neighborhood. She lived there for probably 20 plus years. When she moved there, it wasn't as popular as it is now. It's real close to downtown. She worked downtown, the financial district, enjoyed the quick commute to work. But the local parks that I visited on numerous occasions of going to Seattle, she said now are pretty much homeless camps. Their homeless population has taken over there right in her neighborhood. And we're talking about a neighborhood that homes sell on average for over $1 million, easily. So things have changed. She misses Seattle a little bit, but she's enjoying her time back in Idaho, though. Any details about Deer Creek Village? I have heard it's known for ATV trails, but as far as living there, what's your opinion? Yes, it's a yes, it's very, very popular with all the outdoor recreational scene there. As far as living there, I don't have any personal experience. It's, yeah, I really don't. I wonder, you know, as far as how far do you have to drive for certain amenities? Hospitals, if you're a Costco shopper, Sam's Club shopper, dentists, what you would need would be my question. I don't know a whole lot about the area. I've got friends that have ATV, UTV in Deer Creek before, but not that familiar with the area a whole lot. So, Curtis, never been. Let's just take a quick look here. I didn't type that in. Trying to find it on the map there. Nope, that's a different Deer Creek Village. Not kind of coming up on Google Maps. So, but yeah, it's known for its ATV trails, and I think what detracts some people is amenities, restaurants, et cetera, on distance that you have to travel, hospitals, medical care, you name it. So, okay, Curtis, never been. Washington, or okay, yeah, I've been a few times. Familiar with the area, so I do love my Sam's Club, fuel saver, so not a likely choice then. No, you have a little bit of a drive to get somewhere like that. Just been seeing some relatively cheap cabins for sale in Duck Creek, so I was curious about demographics and culture. Yeah, and most of those cabins that you're seeing are recreational cabins. I would venture to guess that very small population live year-round in those cabins. And that's general for the state. We have a lot of areas, recreational areas, that have cabins. And for most people, it is for recreational use. They share it with the family, or maybe it's a timeshare with some other people, et cetera, et cetera. It's, yeah. So, and that's, that's kind of what it boils down to sometimes is we have a lot of areas in the state of Utah. I have a friend that moved to Delta about a year and a half ago. Home prices were cheaper. He sold in the busy area and retired and wanted to live in Delta. And now when I talk to him, I think he's having a little bit of regret. He's got like an hour and a half drive into Provo, somewhere around there, I think, for medical needs, Costco, Sam's Club, and they're making the commute all the time. And he did make the comment to me, you know, when I'm 80, 85, 90 years old, Will I be able to do it? There are things in Delta, Utah. You do have grocery stores, et cetera, et cetera. But they came from, or they lived their life in a busier area that had Costco's, Walmart's, Sam's Club right around the corner, restaurants right around the corner, movie theaters right around the corner, quick drive, and they're there. And now they do not have that. So, and they became accustomed to restaurants and Sam's Club and Costco's, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a little bit of a change. So, never been to Utah. What are a few recommendations of cities to move to? Wow. Abel Garcia. I would have, that's a question that I would need a little bit more data. I would, some of my typical questions are, will you be working, retired life? What is important to you? Are you somebody who wants to live right around the corner to restaurants, Costco, Sam's Club, movie theaters, baseball game, basketball game, college football, college basketball, et cetera, et cetera? What are your interests and hobbies? Or do you want to live in a mountain town next to the ski resorts, et cetera, et cetera? And also possibly, budget would go into that there. So, I mean, there's a lot of great areas. So I think the biggest one is if you're working for an employer, where's the employer at? You'd probably want to be somewhere within a relative easy commute. Maybe you don't mind an hour and a half commute. So let's say you moved into Ogden, but you took a place in Provo, Utah. Well, you've got an hour and a half commute one way, back and forth. So so there's a lot of great cities, north, south. I can recommend cities in the whole state. Some of the rural areas I'm not as familiar with. Don't do a whole lot of business in the rural areas when we're talking Vernal and Delta and places like that. So I'm not as familiar with those cities. TM, if you buy an office property, can you live in it with your family? I believe I would say no, because most office properties are zoned commercial and not single family, multifamily. So I don't believe that by the zoning laws and the code, it would probably be 100% legal. But that being said, there are probably many, many people that do that. So I have a friend of mine that was in a different line of work, and he ended up owning a bar. He now owns a bar right now, and he lives at the bar. So the bar is zone commercial, and he lives there. So I don't think it's probably not totally legal, but I'm sure many people do it. And number two, as like a little joke with that, I've helped a lot of people in what we call Silicon Slopes, the area down there in Draper, Alpine, Highland, that whole area. And I have been told that some of the computer experts, computer programmers, that line of work, that some of those people literally sleep under their desk. They work all day, and they get on a project and they work all day, and they just sleep right in the office. And the next morning they get right up and they start working right again on that project or work that they are doing. They are that dedicated. So in my opinion, they are living in the office. But yeah. All right, moving to California, probably moving from California. I'm still young, so I can work many decades. I don't want to be in the middle of nowhere, but not a huge major city. So if you are planning on working for many years, I would say northern Utah would be the best spot from probably Ogden, Utah, down in Provo area along the Wasatch Front. That is our highest concentration of jobs. That is probably our lowest unemployment rate, and gives you the most flexibility. So if you're an architect and you do not like the company you're working for, well, you could probably find a job with another company and maybe have an extra 10-minute commute, maybe a little bit shorter, et cetera, et cetera. So it does go, there's a lot of opportunities to change jobs if you are unhappy, or maybe for a promotion, et cetera, et cetera. So along that block from Ogden to Provo. And there are many people who maybe decide to live in Provo because they're working for XYZ company and they get another job, and they will take maybe the jobs in Salt Lake City, and they will drive down the road 30, 40 minutes to work. And it's very doable. It's very doable. It doesn't stop them from taking that job, that other job. So, and you know, I got a friend of mine actually that he's engineer for a company. They offered an early retirement, so he took the early retirement. And but he wasn't ready to retire, so he got another job in the engineering field. But he has about a half-hour, 40-minute commute, but he had no problem with it. So, but the opportunities were there. He wasn't ready to fully retire, so as he tells me now, I'm being double paid. Title of your video: eviction moratorium ending. Correct. I was talking about that at the very beginning. The eviction moratorium did end the other day, but I believe it was yesterday. They extended it to October the 3rd. So it's it has been extended. So, you know, all right. Abel, I recommend Davis and Weber counties. Yeah, great counties there. Very versatile. Lots of opportunities for employment. If you're in Weber County, Davis County, whether you're working in the Ogden area, Hill Air Force Base area, or Salt Lake City, or in between, you really do not have that bad of a commute. So you can juggle everything. Davis County, if you have children, Davis County has one of the best school districts we have in the state. So that's another consideration that weighs heavily for people. I came from California 1 year ago, and I love it here in Davis County. Correct. Good. Thanks. I'll look into that city. Okay. So when he's referring to Davis and Weber County, they are, try to pull up the map here. They are, they're not cities. They are counties. Pull up on, give you a little bit better description here by pulling it up on the map here. So if we are looking, Davis County, so we can zoom it back a little bit. Pretty much from North Salt Lake, kind of draw a line here, go north through areas like Woods Cross, Bountiful, Centerville, Farmington, Kaysville, Layton, lots of cities. Clearfield, and Clinton and Sunset. This area here is the borderline. So somewhere right across here is the end of Davis County. So Weber County starts from this point north. So as we go north, areas like Roy, Riverdale, Ogden, Harrisville, there's North Ogden in here, South Ogden, far west, Pleasant View, West Haven, all kinds of cities as you zoom in. That would be Weber County. So those two counties are right next to each other. And another way to describe it would be pretty much most of what is north from Salt Lake City would be Weber and Davis County. But it does not go all the way up to the border. Once you get up here to, about right here where South Willard is where Weber County would actually technically end. That gives you an idea of that particular block of area. And if we were actually looking at as far as mileage, I would say from the top of Weber County down to North Salt Lake, it's probably about 35, 40 miles stretch, that span. So that's why I say sometimes if you are located in any of these areas, maybe Layton, Utah, and you get a job at Hill Air Force Base and you don't like it there, and in your field you can get a job in maybe North Salt Lake or even Salt Lake City. You don't necessarily have to sell your place, or if you're renting, move out to work in Salt Lake City. You're probably a 30-minute drive down the road, depending on what part of Salt Lake. If you're in South Salt Lake City, it'd be more like 45 minutes. But downtown Salt Lake City, you can make in about 30 minutes from areas in this neighborhood right here. So it's very doable if you're changing jobs, et cetera, et cetera. Hopefully that understands a little bit better. All right, I'm currently working as a security guy, but I'm looking at doing electricity when I move to Utah. Yeah, lots of opportunity in the electronics field. Lots of contractors, commercial, residential, very busy. I imagine probably if you're in the high voltage business, like we have, Utah Power, there's probably opportunities with people who do the high voltage, because we have power lines that go down from time to time, and new power poles and et cetera being put in. So sorry, that was a typo. I'm at work and a bit busy. Oh, you're all right. Abel Garcia, you in California right now? Yes, he is in California at the current moment. I believe I talked to Abel. I didn't talk to him on the phone. It was by text message or email. Don't really remember. I'm moving to Utah as soon as possible. There you go. Gail, are you in California at the current moment? Utah is experiencing a lot of growth. I want to leave this state as soon as possible. I hear that all the time. Text, and we did. Yes, correct. I thought the name was familiar. Me too. California. Gail, California. Yes. California is an area that people are moving out of. It's on the decline. So a couple golden rules I always say about real estate. We don't know in real estate. No one can predict the future as far as prices continue going up, drop down, come back up, et cetera, et cetera. You can only go by previous data and information that you're giving to population growth. And I always say I have two golden rules. If you're purchasing real estate, my recommendation is you purchase somewhere that has a population increase and is landlord friendly. Places I would not purchase real estate is where you're having a population decrease and is not landlord friendly. And the reason I say that is with population increase, it's normally it may last past your lifetime. Take, for instance, the state of California. I think it's probably been growing since the late 60s, maybe 70s. Now it's seeing a decline. So they had a growth spurt of probably 50 years, maybe 50 plus years. So, so where you see a population and landlord friendly, and the reason I say landlord friendly is we never know, none of us know in life what journey life will take us. Maybe you got kids that go across the United States and you retire and you decide, well, number one thing to me is to be with my grandkids. So you will pack your bags and move. Well, if you own a home and the market, let's say you don't want to sell because the market has dipped a little bit. But if you're in a landlord-friendly state, you can always rent it, let someone else pay the mortgage, and then revisit the situation later down the road in life. Maybe you could sell it in 3 or 5 years. Maybe you like being a landlord and it ends up getting paid off. You have a lot of options when you're in a landlord-friendly state. So it gives you a lot of options. So that's mine. Gail, I'm retired. California is a sad place. Yeah, it's a shame to see what's happening in California. I love vacation in the state of California. We have vacation in the state of California for many years. predominantly Southern California. I know it very well. We're big horse racing fans, so we go out there for that, and we've gone out there for other events too. And I love my time in the state of California. I've not been out since before the pandemic, so I do not know what it's like today. But I had a friend that went to Santa Monica area, and when he got back, he told me, Mike, you would be absolutely shocked at what Santa Monica is like today. So, and we've had some great times in Santa Monica. I love walking the pier. There's a couple of restaurants right there that I love eating at. We shop right there in Santa Monica. Sometimes it'd be a little bit of a shock. So, Abel, born in Utah, but raised in California 90% of my life. I'm done with California and I want to see Utah. Okay. California's such a beautiful state, but sadly the state has been going down the drain for a good while. Yeah, and I've never really said this before the last year. Most people that I've seen move to the state of Utah has done so for job relocation, different style of lifestyle. They want the outdoor recreational, et cetera, et cetera. But over the last year, I received so many emails and calls and texts. And one of the number one reasons that people want to move is because of political. It's become a political hot spot. They want to move out of a blue state to a red state. And I hear that literally say, I want out of a blue state, I want to go to a red state that potentially will stay red for a long time. And a year and a half ago, it was never discussed, literally never discussed. I mean, very rarely did I hear that being discussed. And I hear it from Oregon, Washington, California. It's not the only states. I'm just picking on California. New York, I received calls from New York, places like Chicago, quite a few states. So it has had an impact. Definitely has had an impact. The pandemic has changed life for a lot of people. So, but there's some good with that. There's some absolute good with it, because I've helped some people that have been able to retain, like say, their California jobs, and they've worked remote. They've moved to the state of Utah. They have not had to find work. They're working for the same company with the same people, but they're doing it in Utah. And I think that's fantastic. So basically all they did is move from another, and they didn't have to worry about employment. So that was one less hurdle that they had to jump. And I think it's phenomenal. I think that's a good thing. I want to live in an area that's family oriented as well as community. Yes, Gail. And that's what I describe Utah. Earlier, I was talking about a man to So I am back. We lost connection. And I don't know, the Wi-Fi went down. So, but yes. Yeah, it's changing. Things are changing. I don't know, with the decline in California, it's not a good sight. It's not a good thing, because typically states that see population decreases, it's not just a 1-year deal or a 2-year deal. The snowball starts to roll and just picks up steam, and more people leave. So you're smart to leave California. Bought a home in Clinton. Very nice. Yes, I lived in Clinton one time myself. Clinton, Utah, located right next to the military base. Very popular with people stationed at the base also. Now I get it. Got a hit. Yeah, Governor Newsom. He's out to maybe he's afraid I was going to try to challenge for his job. Yeah, so yeah, I'm sure that the California governor would love to keep as many people as he can. I mean, it's a changing state. It's a changing state. Where the future holds, I don't know, but don't know. Messing with my connection. Well, I thought maybe it might be the Russians. They seem to be hacking everything lately, so I don't know. Maybe it's the Russians. So yeah, it's a changing environment we're living in. Where we're going, I don't know. I can tell you right now, or areas that are seeing enormous growth would be Idaho, especially the Boise area, Arizona, Utah's getting some growth, Colorado, and the two big areas is Texas and Florida, seeing tremendous growth. Tremendous growth. It's the whole Texas and Florida thing is just blowing up. So Governor Newsom. He's a scummy governor. So for the people who live in the state of California right now, what do you think his chances are of re-election? I'm kind of curious. I see it from an outsider viewpoint, and I see a lot of people running against him. But I guess from an outsider's viewpoint, I don't know. I don't see anybody maybe that will be able to take over. So it's so there's a guy on YouTube called Meet Kevin. He's got a very big channel. He's a great guy. He started out in real estate investing, and became a very big YouTube star. He produces videos daily, 2, 3, 4 times a day. He is running for governor of California, and it's very interesting to watch him. So he has got his name in the hat. 0 chance of him staying. Okay. So yeah, from an outsider's point of view, looking into the state, I just don't feel like he's done a great job from what I see being a distance away. So we have a new governor here, and I love the governor we have. This to me right now, so far, his first 6 months in office, by far one of the best governors we've ever had. Now, I did enjoy Governor Huntsman. I think he's a fantastic man, fantastic family. His father owns the Huntsman Cancer Institute, has donated millions of dollars, helped many people. I did enjoy having Governor Huntsman, but our current governor we've had last 6 months, fantastic job so far. Fantastic job. He's out there in front of everything. He's in the news media. He's letting you know what he's doing and what his thoughts are about the drought, COVID, you name it, and has done a fantastic job so far. So What gyms do you guys have? I currently work at LA Fitness, but for some reason there's no LA Fitness in Utah. Correct. I don't believe we have LA Fitness. We have the Vasa gyms, which took over the Gold's gyms. That's probably the largest in the state of Utah. It would be the Vasa. And Planet Fitness would be the other big one that I see in the state of Utah. And I'm assuming both of them too are national companies, probably in other states. If it's completely honest selection, he's gone. But because it's California, I say it's a low chance. Yeah, it's interesting what's going on. You know, you've got on one end, you've got Newsom, and on the other end, you've got Cuomo. And I don't know, Cuomo just shocks me at how people stood behind him. And now finally, when the reports has been produced, now people are trying to back away from him. And I don't know. Did you think the report was going to show something different? You have all these people that come out that aren't related, et cetera, et cetera. It's not just one individual, two individuals. There was a bundle of people, and I don't know. So it'd be interesting to see what happens in New York too with Mr. Cuomo. So agreed. I like the Utah governor. Yes. I think he's done a fantastic job. Amazing job, actually. I really like how he's out front and he just speaks his mind, whether you like it or not, but you get the truth from him. He tells you what his plan is and possibly what his solution is. And just very honest and very open, does not beat around the bush, tries to solve problems in a variety of ways. So yes, I absolutely. And he's just, with our drought situation, as it has bothered me for years that they require new businesses, or if you are changing a business and remodeling it, you have to have 10% landscaping in most of the cities, which means grass and trees, and you have to water it. And for years, I've thought this is a waste. You go buy a brand new, next to a new 7-Eleven or Maverick gas station, you'll see all this grass outside. Yes, it looks beautiful, but it's using a lot of water. And I never understood it for many years, why we need to do that. And he stepped in now saying he wants to bring out a plan to rip all that out and put desert landscaping in. And I commend him for it. Gail, stay in California long enough to help remove Newsom. I will. I used Vasa for 6 months, but all 3 I used were too busy to enjoy, so I quit and now have a home gym. And that's me. That's what I did with my basement. I made a home gym. So, and, call it lazy or whatever, but it's great. Especially like in the winter months when it's a little bit colder outside or it's just snowing a little, I don't have to get in my car and go somewhere. I'm right here. So that's what I did. So I love it. But for the recall, I see Larry Elder, Anthony Tremino as an option. We have over 40 people running, and a majority of them are nobodies. Okay. Yeah, I heard there was a lot of people running. So interesting to see how that turns out. So I'm interested to see how Mr. Cuomo, Governor Cuomo, survives in New York. So, but I know just about, I asked somebody from New York, it was probably about 4 months ago. And I asked them that question. I said, with the allegations coming out with Cuomo, will he get, reelected, et cetera, et cetera. And they said, yes, he will. He has such a strong support to get reelected. And but that's probably changed all now. So, Gail, home gyms are great. It's a great thing to do with your basement. So in Utah, we have many homes that have basements. And sometimes people think of ideas to do for their basement. What are they going to do? Maybe they don't need more bedrooms, et cetera, et cetera. So that's one of the great ideas to do for a basement. Home gym, arts and crafts room, office. It's a great place if you want a private office, if you work from home. Maybe go in the basement, have privacy, and set it up how you want, exactly how you want, and you have your own space. There's a lot of options for basements. So And my dad actually, so my dad was looking for a 1-level home. This was a few years ago. And I talked him into, because he wanted a patio home. And I said, no, Dad, you get a patio home, but get one with a basement if you don't use a basement. He's like, I'm by myself. I don't need a basement. But today he'll tell you that's the best decision he made. Everything is on one level upstairs. So he's got his laundry, everything. So if he gets to the point where he cannot go to the basement down the stairs, he has everything to live upstairs. But for now, and for the last 7 years, he's used a basement. He's left it unfinished, but he stores like Christmas items down there. He can just store it down there, just out of the way. And he builds model airplanes. He's got a spot down there. He's got a desk, and he can leave the mess and go right upstairs. You don't have to clean it off the kitchen table or put it away. He's got his own spot down there. So it's worked out great for him having that basement. Both governors need to be in prison. I agree with you on that. Yes. Governor Cuomo. Yeah, I just shake my head. So, yeah, plus $95, the government need to be in jail, but we know they won't be in jail. Correct. I don't think either one will do any time. No. Nope. Yes, you do. So many basements. Yes, majority of our homes have basements. So 95%. And it's, with the basement thing, it's some people, they want me to send them inventory. I'll send them inventory. And they're like, well, Mike, I don't need a home. It's got 6 or 7 bedrooms. One thing to remember in Utah is a lot of people, if they have a home gym or a home office downstairs in their basement, they will still do it as a bedroom for appraisal value, etc. They'll put the closet, the window, everything in, although they're not using it as a quote bedroom. So you'll see homes with 6, 7 bedrooms. Mine's that way. We've technically, I guess, 3, I would be a 6-bedroom home, but in the basement, the 3 bedrooms in the basement, we do not use as bedrooms. So one of them's being used as an office, one is as a gym, and the other I do my videos in. So it's my little recording studio. So, but if I ever sold the home, I would probably list it as a 6-bedroom home. True, Abel, corruption, tons of it. Yes. Not in the state of Utah's government. Not that I'm aware of at the current moment. No, I like the governor here. And there's a couple of politicians I'd like to replace, but for the most part, can't complain. Well, we'll see how it shakes out. I'm going to call it a night. It's been 1 hour. I appreciate everybody. We committed to a $93K full basement build with a walkout and extra heater. Build starts soon. Yeah, cool. Yeah, many options. I was trying to think of some pointers. One recommendation I have, or one thing that I really love about my basement, and took a little bit of heat from other people with it. And in my household now, there's only me and the wife. So we big house and nobody's around anymore. But I put in a laundry room downstairs. So we have washer and dryer upstairs, and we have washer dryer downstairs. And the one downstairs is purely for like emergency use, or if the upstairs one's used, I can always run downstairs, throw it in downstairs. But it has come in very handy. About 6 months ago, our washing machine upstairs broke. Well, trying to buy a new washing machine in a pandemic is difficult. Inventory was very, very low. So we ordered one because we had facilities downstairs to use. So we were in no rush. So I think that the laundry room that I put in the basement was one of the number one things that I really enjoy. Really, really enjoy. So if you get an opportunity to put a laundry room down there also, I would say take it. Especially if you plan on using your basement, maybe for guests, maybe you've got family members coming from out of state to come and visit. They would sort of like have their own privacy, their own washing machine, their own dryer that they can use themselves. And I think that is a great, great thing for guests to use. We will build and consider an unfinished basement. Yes, so and that's what my dad did. I was explaining with the unfinished basement. It's a great area to store. If you want to put your home gym down there, you can put a home gym down there. You want to just do arts and crafts. There's a lot of options that you can do in the basement, with it even unfinished. So I love it. My dad likes his too. So, but he's got everything upstairs, one level living. So if there's ever a time he could not go downstairs, he does not have to move out of the house. So, but he loves it. He puts all his Christmas stuff down there and other items. If he buys extra stuff at Costco or something, he just stores it downstairs. Doesn't have to find room in a closet or whatever. And you just put it down there, and people don't go downstairs. So it does not have to be kept nice, neat, and tidy. So, yep. Thanks, Mike. You're welcome, Gail. Anytime. This is what I love doing. I really love doing this and helping people. I love what I do. I love the state I live in. So it's a very rewarding career. I meet lots of lovely families, and some of the best families I meet are when you put someone in a home. They have to be in a certain school district, and their kids are 8, 9, 10, 11 years old, and they call you 7 or 8 years later and say, Mike, I want to sell the house. We're moving. Change of life. And you go over, and the kids are now in college, and you get a whole, and they remember you. And so it's very rewarding. Gail, going to put my husband down there. Well, there you go. There you go. Well, in Utah, that's where you put your extra wives. I tried to make that a joke, and I didn't quite get it all the way, but there you go. Once I eventually move to Utah and buy a house, I'll get a basement and use it for storage. Yep, there's lots of options. I love basements. And even if someone has finished a basement, you can always modify it. You can change things. Right now, where I'm filming right here, this is my basement. We put a little fireplace. This is the living area. We actually have a kitchen set over here, which we do not use at all. There's room for a stove and a dishwasher and a refrigerator. We don't even have them down here. We put all the cabinets in and never used the downstairs hardly. So, but lots of options. So what I really should do if I wanted to, because I've got the laundry facility and we could have a kitchen down here, you could actually rent out this basement. I could actually rent the basement out and probably get easily, you'd have 3-bedroom, bathroom, laundry, kitchen, $1,300 a month probably. So, but and people do that. It's very popular these days. So, yeah, very good. Okay, any more questions this evening before I wrap it up on basements? Been a great evening. Thank you very much. I'll be back again next week.